Hi everyone. We're getting ready to start a Greek and Egyptian live live shopping event. So what we've got here is we've got our Greeks and Egyptians that are behind us, and then the Egyptians are down at that end. What we're going to do for this event is I'm going to go through and I'm going to show each figurine. I'm going to say who they are and the price for everyone that you decide that you would like to have. You're going to say sold, the name of the deity, and the price it is that you were that I listed. And then we're going to do something a little bit special for this one. We're going to do we're not going to do the free shipping, but instead we're going to do 10% off your first figurine that you decide you want, 20% off the second if you get two, 30% off three, 40% off four, and if you get five or more figurines that you pick, you'll get 50% off your entire order. So that's how we're going to work that. Go ahead and when we're done with the event, you're going to contact us through a Facebook private message with your billing information, which is just your shipping address and your name. And then we will figure out how to get all these treasures to you, all right? Shipping address and email, I'm being told. So, are we ready to begin looking at these figurines and seeing which ones we need to have in our home? All right, let's do it. So I'm going to have to go ahead and grab a step stool because a lot of these are fairly tall, so sorry about the shakiness on that while I'm getting this set up. All right. So all of these figurines are made from a bronze resin mix. That means they're using resin in the figurine with bronze painting and additional other color painting over the bronze. So we'll start with this one. This is an Aphrodite or Venus figurine, depending on whether you're Greek or Roman. She's a beautiful piece, and she's actually on sale, so she's already at $59.99. If you need that Venus in your life, and we will make that happen for you. This is another interpretation. This is a little more classic version of Venus, and she is $66.99. All right. And then I love these ones. These ones are called Greekies. They're the tiny, tiny versions of them. The Greekies are $17.99 each. We have Aphrodite and Poseidon here. Knocking things over. All right. So this is a Poseidon piece. He's about 8 to 10 inches tall. He comes with a trident that comes off. And he is $64.99. If that's a Poseidon piece that you need, go ahead and let us know. I'm going to try to do all this without breaking any of them too. Let's see how well we do. All right. This Poseidon piece, he's got a, he's more fish or merman in the lower half of his body, and he was $74.99. And then we have this one with all of the extra like crustacean and slightly more sea looking. He's also $74.99. This is one of our most uncommon figurines. He only became available to us earlier this year, and this is actually Kronos, the father of Zeus and the Titan, who ends up being essentially the father of all the other Olympian gods. And his price is $69.99. All right, we're going to move that. This Poseidon piece is also a merman by nature, and he is $62.99. So, an interesting fun fact is that Zeus and Poseidon and Hades are all brothers who happen to be sons of Kronos, who we just spoke about a little bit earlier. All right. So this is a magnificent Pan figurine. There's so much detail in him. His pipe is done perfectly. All the facial hair, there's the fine detail all the way around this piece is quite amazing. He does have the traditional fawn leggings And he's very contemplative in this aspect of Pan. And this one is $114.99. This guy is really large. He's over 12 inches tall, and he weighs probably about 5 pounds. All right. So remember the Greekies that I mentioned earlier? This is the Zeus version of him, and he is $17.99 as well. Yeah, the entire series is that price. So this is a Zeus with one of the most articulated lightning bolts I've ever seen. This thing is so articulated that you could just see that he's really riding the clouds, and he's really involved in that dynamic act of throwing the lightning bolt. This Zeus runs $66.99. All right. So who we have here is several versions of Apollo. So this is his classic version of Apollo with the lyre. This is very classic in its nature, similar to what you would see if you're looking at Greek statues in Greece. His price is $59.99. The next one behind him, this one has his shield and his bow. I like how frequently interpretations of Apollo have this very specific hairstyle, and you see how it's kind of bowed in the center there. So this is shown on this statue as well. He's $79.99. You can see it's a fairly large piece. It's at least as tall as that pan that we were showing you earlier today. All right, you need to move again. Ooh. So one of Apollo's symbols is the swan, and you can see that on this one, he's actually riding the swan. He's got his satchel with all of his special information. His bow is absolutely beautiful. His connection to the bow is actually a connection to his own sister, Artemis. And this particular version is $62.99. Okay. I'm being told that I need to slow down a little bit so people can see. All right. So this is a very classical version of Hades. He's got Erebus on his side. He's got his staff. I'm still bouncing? You just talk to them, not me. Okay. This version of Hades is $82.99. He's about 14 inches tall, and this next version of Hades, I call him the Metal Hades. It reminds me very much of the version of the McFarlane toys when they did like all the Kiss toys, but he's got all the amazing details that are in this are just very well done. This version of Hades is $79.99. And then this is a dynamic version of Hades, still in that classical style that was shown before. This version of Hades is a little bit smaller than the other two, but still quite amazing. And his total is $72.99. If you see any of these you like, just let us know. All right, now I can come off of this little ladder. This will make everything a little bit easier for the rest of it. All right. The gentleman we have here is Cephalos. He's got the snake associated with wisdom and medicine here. This particular piece is $79.99. Now we have the Mother Demeter. She's got her torch bearing. There's all of her flowers on her side. She's got her sheaths of wheat. So they're actually showing aspects of Persephone as well, with all those flowers, the flowers that have been made by her daughter for her. And her total is $84 for that piece. The Gorgon or Medusa, so beautifully detailed. Every single thing on each of these figurines is so well detailed. I'm going to move Hermes back so that you can actually see. They have her tail come all the way back. Each scale is fully articulated and detailed. I love the fact that they both make her beautiful and hideous, which is part of her story. And she runs $56.99. Now we have this Hermes the Messenger. His caduceus is there, his winged helmet. This is a little bit more of the Roman style. And he runs $62.99. Well, all right. The next figurine that I'm showing you here is a different version of Poseidon. This is him riding the back of a sea dragon, which is... Okay. And this particular piece is $79.99. All right. This next piece is actually a bust of Athena. It's supposed to be from the library of Edgar Allan Poe, hence it says Nevermore, and there's a raven on the shoulder there. Here we have Ares. He's riding on his horse, and the ram's horns are on the front of that horse. This particular piece is $69.99. We currently have 3 of these Mucha style Four Seasons. Currently there is spring, summer, and fall. It looks like winter has been acquired already, and each one of those is $16.99. They're done with this cream color and gold. And then we have these very interesting, everyone liked those. We have these very interesting evil eye trees. They're painted silver with evil eyes in each of the flowers on them. And those pieces are $24.99. So if you need one of these evil eye trees, let us know. One of the rare interpretations that are made commercially available of Hercules. So he's fighting the Hydra. He's got his club. The lion's mane is on his shoulder. And that particular piece is $84.99. This is one of the rare full-color, beautiful versions that we get of Greek figurines. And this one happens to be Hecate. You see her hounds. They're all done in triplicates.
We had somebody request specifically to hear more about Hecate.
Oh, they want to know more about Hecate? Okay, so Hecate is actually a Minoan goddess. She comes from the northern part of Greece, and the cults associated with her were so strong that they really couldn't eliminate her from the Greek pantheon. So Hecate is actually the goddess of witches and witchcraft and magic. She's the keeper of the crossroads. She understands your past, present, and future. And her symbols are associated with hounds and keys, because she holds those keys to basically your past, your present, and your future. So those are just a few tidbits about Hecate. Her symbols, as you can see, the upward-facing moon above her head, and I'll be showing a few more classical versions of her a little bit later. So this is the full-color version of Hecate. All right, and this is Cybele. Cybele is the mother of Artemis and Apollo. She has the lions. She's got this beautiful throne that she sits on. And her price is $94.99. She's a very heavy piece in that bronze resin. All right. In the back we have Gaia. This version of Gaia, she's actually holding the earth in her hands, and she's surrounded by flowers covering her and other living plants. She is $59.99 for that one. So this is actually listed as Rhea instead of Cybele. She's actually holding the plasma energy of the sun in her hand and riding on the lion. This particular piece goes for $59.99. She's absolutely beautiful. I love that her crown is actually done to look like rays of sun coming from her. A lot of times the Greeks associated powerful sun energy with Egyptian energy, which is interesting that they have this kind of almost Egyptian looking neck piece on her. And she's also a Titan. Now we've run into the Pan version of our Greekies. And this guy, he's so cute with his tiny little legs and his fun little ears, his horns. If you need a little Pan piece on your altar, or if you need just a little bit of fun in your life, this is a great version of Pan. Behind him are more classical versions of Pan. So I'll bring him out into the light so you can see him. He's got his pipes, he's playing, he's sitting on a ledge. The one from this collection runs $57.99, which is a really great price for as heavy as that piece is. The nice thing about them is they don't attempt to demasculate them, so Pan is anatomically correct in these particular versions. This is him sitting on top of a stump. I like how they actually have his little tail. He seems very stern, like something is a little bit going on and he's not going to tell you what. $66.99 is his total. He's got the larger curling ram horns, whereas this has got the shorter ram horns. All right, and then we have one where there's a faun actually playing the flute, not just holding the flute. This holds on to that slightly more bestial aspect of Pan. He looks a little more rough and a little bit more closer to his animal kin. $62.99 is the total for that piece. And as you can see, each one of these are 12 to 14 inches tall. We have this beautiful candle holder, and this one is also a Pan. It's got two different faces of Pan. We've got the slightly older version of him and the slightly younger version of him. And it's on either side of the same candle holder. The glass does lift out, so if you receive that piece, just know that it can fall out. So be careful with that. And that's $36.99. All right, we finished half of the Greek figurines. How do you feel? I think we're doing all right. All right. So the next deity that we have quite a few different variations of her is Athena. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different interpretations of this goddess. So what I'm going to do is, instead of saying each one, I'm going to lift up each one, focus on them for a second so you can see them, and tell you what the prices are for them. Her classic symbology, the Gorgon on her shield, the Owl of Wisdom on her shoulder, her spear. Her total is $49.99. This one is almost identical to the other, but it also has a tree, so this one's got a bit more embellishing happening with this specific style. This one is $74.99, so price is pretty similar for both of those. So this is the classic version of Athena, the version of Athena that they believed was actually in the temple in Athens, in the Parthenon itself. So obviously that would have been done with marble and gold instead of the silver finish and gold. But it's very similar to what you would expect in the classical figurine style. She's really large. Her total is, sorry about the bounciness on that one, $74.99. And she's easily 14 inches tall, not including her spear. We have a very dynamic version of Athena. She's actually like in the process of battle. The thing we have to remember about the Olympian gods is they actually all live kind of above the clouds. The Olympians live, their fortress is on a mountain above the clouds. So a lot of times you're going to see Olympians displayed on fighting or being in clouds. And this is just another example of a figurine that's representing that nature of Olympians. And she is $64.99. This is a very stoic Athena here in the back. She was hiding in the back, but she wanted to come forward. The Gorgon on her shield, the feathers in her helmet are very flowing. Her cape, everything about this piece is actually doing some form of movement, which is kind of nice. If you want a little bit more movement on your altar, this is a very beautiful piece to bring that to your altar. She is $79.99. All right. That
For a while, it didn't show up, but somebody had asked for you to show the seasons and say which is which
Oh, okay. I can go back to that.
when you're done with the season.
Okay. So this is again that classic version of the Athena from the temple of the Parthenon. However, this one is done in all bronze, not gold and silver. I love the details that are all put into her scale armor, all the details that are in her helmet. This all bronze piece is $76.99. Again, this one, just like the other one, is almost 14 inches tall. Here we have a version of Athena holding the owl. There's no shield in this one. So this is kind of a modern interpretation of the previous one that I just showed you. If you were to have maybe just Athena walking around on Earth for a little bit, maybe this is what she would look like. This piece is $81.99. Because of all the extra detailing and the fact that this is a hand artist created piece, that's why this one's a little bit more expensive than the one that's the duplicate of a previous artist piece. This is one with the owl riding on her shoulder. If you look at her spear, it actually, if you flip it over, is also an owl. So there's just very intricate, small, fine details that just layer your interaction with Athena when you're getting this specific piece. Her helmet even has owl stylings. It's lifted up. And she's $64.99. And then our last version of Athena, the shield is down by her waist. The owl is on her shoulder. She's got that very classical shoulder armor that you typically see with her. And in this specific version, which none of the others have, they've also put a snake down by her ankles. And that's association with the Gorgon, and is also with knowledge and other things that are associated with the snakes. I was told somebody wanted to see a close-up on each of those 4 seasons. So this one is spring. So nothing has sprung yet. The one where she's got the bountiful harvest there, this is actually fall. And in the back with the sunflower, this one is the summer version. So she's got that sunflower behind her. I'm going to rotate them as best I can on the shelf so that I don't have to worry about knocking any of them over. Oh, she's telling me no, there's a small spring flowers at the bottom there. You wouldn't have any flowers. The winter one, she's got a shroud over her head. Yeah. All right. So back to where we were. So we have Justice. So she's carrying the scales of justice. She's standing on the books, which represent the knowledge associated with doing the act of justice. Sword, which is the ultimate punishment associated with being judged against. And then she's supposed to also represent that justice is blind, that it has no bias, so she does have a blindfold on. Now we enter our Artemis section. Artemis is the sister of Apollo. She represents moon magic. She protects children, and she's a hunter, and she's fiercely independent. So she's frequently shown with a stag or a deer of some sort. Deer is actually one of her primary symbols, and she's frequently shown as turning into or interacting with deer in some fashion. This specific piece is $79.99. I forgot to tell you the price on the Justice. I didn't want to mess with the scales. The Justice piece was only $54 if you were interested in that. Then we have this one where she's actually got the large stag. She's carrying a spear behind her. And she's like, I mentioned how Olympians are frequently visualized on clouds. She's on clouds here as well. The stag might be the most dynamic part of this piece, but I love how she's just standing forward and she's representing herself as being large and in charge there. That version of Artemis is 77. Then you have the slightly, she's preparing to actually strike down a foe in this one. So I sometimes call her the slightly more manic version of Artemis. The stag is there with her as well. She's got the horn for signaling the hunt. It's everything about this piece is moving. A lot of them, they seem like they're posed or she's preparing for something. This one is her in the act of being the hunter. And this one is $89.99. Ooh, my throat's getting a little dry. One of the things that I really like about this specific piece is that as she is a moon goddess, you can actually see that she's on a cratered moon piece. She's got that wolf howling with her as part of the hunt. She's wearing the stag horns, and that's that connection to stag that she has. An interesting thing is that most of the weapons that are wielded by Olympians are so supernatural in nature that when we think about what a bow and arrow should look like, what does it look like when a divine being is using a bow and arrow that could literally pierce through almost anything that it wanted to? So that's an interesting, almost lightning bolt looking version. And this one is $67.99. It's a really great price for the size of that piece. All right, one of the few centaurs ever available. We've only got one of this guy. His shield is all made out of snakes, which is interesting. His sword looks like it might be bone. And obviously he's riding off into battle in this image. And his total is $69.99. He's very large. All right, we're going into some of our more classic looking Greek figurines. Anytime you see the white figurines, that's a more classic version. The thing that we forget about Greek statuary is that even though they might have been carved out of marble originally, they were finely painted. So the ones that people would walk around and see in temples or around their palaces and other places where you would see large statues of Greek figurines, while they were marble and white underneath, they were finely painted and just quite stunning. So we lose that as a modern society because almost all those pigments come off of the marble. So this is what we end up seeing, 2,000 years later when we're looking at things. So this particular deity is Zeus. He's striving forward. His lightning bolt's there. He's $67.99 in this style. We have Ares. It's represented by this lion on his shield. And this one is $54.99. It's a very large piece for a really great price. Now we just got these in, and this is a really neat set. This set, each one of the pieces is $11.99, and I'm just going to show each one of them close up so that you can see. So the same company that's made all of the same large, beautiful versions of our figurines has made smaller versions. I saw that looks a little fuzzy, so let me bring this down. So there's Hera. Here's Zeus. And these have the same level of detail as those larger pieces. In fact, a lot of times they're interpretations or miniaturizations of the larger pieces. That was Apollo. Here's Poseidon. There's a version of Ares. Demeter. And then a rare figurine, and I'm glad that they made this in a small size. For all of those who are crafters or smiths, this is Hephaestus. He is the armorer of the gods, the one who makes it so that they have all of their weaponry necessary to face the Titans and any other trials that they have. This is a classic bust of Athena. This one is $88.99. She's really large. She's a beautiful piece. Weighs probably about 10 pounds. Back behind here, she's hiding a little bit. This is the truest example of what Athena would have looked like in the Temple of Athena. So Nike is resting on her palm. It's done in that marble and gold finish. And she's only $49.99, which is a great price for that piece. Here we have Hygeia. She's got symbol of medicine, sacred flame of knowledge, $42.99. Behind here we have Apollo. Apollo is, in this interpretation, is really beautiful. It's the same as the one that was up above, done in all bronze, but this one is done in that marble finish. So I'll let you take a look all the way around him. Most of the ones that are done in this white finish are a little bit less expensive because that bronze finish is more expensive to put on, and it weighs a little bit more and some other things. So it takes a little bit more work to make them look as beautiful as they do in the bronze finish. But this particular piece, this Apollo, is $72.99. All right. So we have Aphrodite, or Venus. She's looking rather provocative. And she's only $52.99 for that one. This one's typically called Venus on the half shell. This is representing her rising from the sea foam, the sea spray. She's one of the goddesses that came directly from the sea, and it's represented in this image of her, $54.99. So this is the version of Artemis that actually is represented in the two different museums in Europe. You can find this statue all around the Louvre in Paris, and then in the Doge's Palace in Florence, there's a small bronze version of this particular piece. It's almost exactly the same size as the piece that we have here. The original was that smaller bronze piece that's about this size. And this one is $59.99. As we had our higher up on the display of Greek figurines, this is that version of Athena that's in Edgar Allan Poe's library with the raven on the shoulder and says nevermore. And the interesting thing about that is the bronze one that we have is the only one of that that's available anymore. So if you're interested in the bronze version of that, they no longer make it. And if you want it, definitely let us know because it's the last one we have. All right, so now we have Hecate again. These are all the more classical versions of Hecate. She's carrying each of her symbols. You'll notice that the Greek gods never understood or never focused on the idea of a mother maiden crone. Greek gods were always in their prime unless they were specifically representing an aspect of wisdom, and then they would change how they look. But to the Greeks, their gods were always in their prime. So she's carrying the snake, the key, and the torches. All of these, you'll notice that she has different, each one of these has a different crown. This particular piece done in white is $82.99. She's about 12 and a half, 13 inches tall, maybe a little bit taller than that. And she weighs about 5 to 7 pounds. This is the same statue, but done in that bronze finish. You notice it looks identical in every way except for the fact that there's color and bronze added to this one. The 3 torches, each one of them representing that torch of understanding, knowledge, opening the keys. This one is $104.99, and that one's actually significantly heavier than the white version. We have something that's hiding in the back here, but I want to show it to you anyway. This is actually a journal that we have that has the talisman or symbol of Hecate on it. So you'll notice that it has the three facings as well as that spiral in the center. This particular journal is, sorry about that, $74.99. This is a journal that's handmade for us by a gentleman, and he makes these journals specifically for us. He may make them for other people as well, but the thing is that we pick the designs from his selection of designs, and he makes those specifically for us. We've got two more versions of Hecate that I'd like to show you. This is the Mickey Mueller. I got 20 minutes to get to the Egyptian, she's telling me. So we have the Mickey Mueller version and the Maxine Miller version of Hecate. The Mickey Mueller is $69.99 and the Maxine Miller version. And I love all the details that are in this one. She's got the hounds at her feet. This one is $59.99. Pythia, who is the Oracle at Delphi, $67.99. Nemesis is $66.99. I'm going to go a little bit faster now. Artemis, or excuse me, Mercury, and he is $79.99. Hermes and Mercury. It depends on whether you're looking at him as a Roman or a Greek god, but given his helmet, I definitely say that he's Mercury and not Hermes. We have Hestia, and there's two different versions of her. This one is $79.99 with the flame by her, and the one where, and then this is Hygeia, $66.99. Two different interpretations of her, Hygeia. This is another version of Hygeia, $54.99. And lastly, we have Demeter. She's hiding back here in the corner. This one's very heavy. It's the same one that I actually have on my altar at home. She's $74.99. All right. Now we have these two very large Zeus and Poseidons. We have them on top of pillars. He's got the eagle at his shoulder. I'm going to see if I can find the price without having to lift him up. And he is $229.99. This guy is easily 2 to 2.5 feet tall, and it's just a very dynamic version of Zeus. We have a Poseidon that's also the same size. If you'd love to have him, he is $244.99. All right, I don't have much time, so I'm going to try to make it over to the Egyptian. So, whew, we made it. All right, so we've crossed the Mediterranean Sea, and now we're into Africa. The funny thing is this first deity that I'm going to show you is actually Ishtar. She's a Babylonian goddess. They have her on the horses. She's holding her symbols. That Ishtar is $102.99. She's actually very large. We have Horus on his throne. He is $94.99. All the fine details. The hieroglyphs on the side of the throne itself. We have Anubis here and as a bust. He's $72.99. We also have Horus as a bust. The way you know that he's Horus and not Ra is because he's wearing the crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. And he is also, he's $67.99 for that piece. Again, Horus and not Ra because of that crown of Upper and Lower Egypt. Carrying the traditional curved blade used in Egyptian fighting. And the Ankh, he's $54.99. Here is his mother, Isis. She's got the spread wings, the solar disc above her head. This is a very traditional gold color that's used in a lot of Egyptian figurines. Her total is $54.99. She's got about a 10-inch wingspan and she's about 7 inches tall. All right, so this is the aspect that's actually Ra and not Horus, you'll notice, because he's the sun disk above his head. This one is $44.99. This next very beautiful piece is Isis with Horus at her shoulder, carrying Bast, and Sekhmet behind her, with Thoth as symbolized by the moon behind her. It's got a William Butler Blake poem on the back side with an ankh. So the back side is done in this bronze, but the front side is done in this beautiful full color. I love how they've made her dress look so much like gossamer silk, almost see-through. It's $149.99 for that piece. This particular version of Bast has actually a snake lower body. I know there's different ways of saying Bast. You could say Bastet, Bast. It all depends on which dynasty you're talking about, which geographical location, and which dialect you're speaking. This particular version is $59. Next to her is Hathor. The way you can tell that it's Hathor and not Isis is, one, she doesn't have wings, and two, look at the shape of the horns on the top. They curve so directly outward. She's $49.99. We have two of this specific, very classic version of Anubis. This one's $44.99. And then this is what I call like the battle version of Anubis. I'm going to bring them down so you could actually see them. All those fine details. This particular version of Anubis is $54.99. All right. This is Thoth. Sometimes it's Thoth, sometimes it's Jihote. That also depends on which version of the Egyptian language you're attempting to communicate with, which dynasty, which geographical region. $66.99 for that. All right. We have the hippopotamus, $27.99. The small Egyptian frogs done in the lapis finish, $6.99. The lions are $8.99. The Sphinx is $8.99. There's a couple different versions of the Sphinx. One is $16. The blue Sphinx is $16 as well. We have the headdress that was found on Tutankhamun. These are smaller pieces, $8.99. So the interesting thing about this piece is these are actually guardians who are supposed to stand guard at the tombs of the pharaohs. Anytime you go into a tomb of a pharaoh, you're going to see these. They're actually supposed to be the guards or guardians of the tombs. This is supposed to be classic representation. And those are smaller pieces, $4.99 for those tomb guardians. Tutankhamun in his classic pose, also $4.99. And the hippo again, $6.99. Coptic jar, this one is done to look like it has Horus on its head. It's not Ra because it does not have that solar disc above it, $12.99. Same with this, also Horus, not Ra, $8.99. Now, the same company that did those beautifully detailed Greek figurines did a set of miniaturized Egyptian figurines. So we've got Amun, or sometimes called Amun-Ra, Sobek, which is a really impressive interpretation of Sobek. We have Sekhmet on a throne, Osiris back here with his flail, Isis, and then I don't know if you can see her all the way in the back, that's Ma'at. Each one of these is $11.99, so that's the same price as those highly detailed miniature Greek figurines that I showed you earlier today. Then we have a few different things. These are light up pyramids, so the top of them actually light up. They are $9.99. And then these are representative of some of the boxes that are found in tombs where many things that were precious were kept. And these are $27.99. This one says careful on it. It's only $29.99. But the reason why it says careful is because it's actually 3 hidden boxes. If you love anything about Egyptian culture, they loved hiding things within things. So they have the representation of the night sky. And so each level of this has different classic images that you'll find on papyrus. This specific one is from Ramses II temple that's near the Temple of Isis in the north or southeastern part, which is called Upper Egypt. And then we have these hinged boxes. There's 2 different ones of those. This one is $16.99, and the one in the back that has symbols of Horus on it and hieroglyphs on the other sides, that one is $24.99. All right, so this crouching figure here is Ma'at. It's represented by her feather on her head. She's the goddess who passes final judgment and determines whether you're placed in the Book of the Dead or not. Your heart is weighed against her feather, and if you can answer these 3 things properly, have I helped more people than I've harmed? Have I loved more people than have someone loved me? And have I ever loved someone? Those are the things that you have to answer. If your heart weighs less than that feather, then you're entered into the Book of the Dead. So $16.99, the classic version of the Sphinx. And then this is a sarcophagus with Anubis on top, $36.99. It's got all the hieroglyphs on the side of it. A female Sphinx. It's very Greek in its styling, but we have to remember that there was a lot of crossover between the Greeks and the Greeks and the Egyptians. This one is $42.99. And then we have a small, beautiful jar that has wow, my brain's not working. We have symbols of Isis on one side, and we have the scarab beetle with Anubis on top, and that's $24.99. All right, so now we've got 2 more shelves. I'm going to see how quickly I can get through these. We have Anubis on a throne. I've been told I have 10 minutes to get through the rest of this. Hieroglyphs all around the edges of him. Hi, George. We saw you pop on. This one is $101.99. That one weighs easily 15 pounds. It's a really beautiful piece. Sekhmet on a throne. She is $49.99. The standing Sekhmet. This is very reminiscent of what would be carved into the side of temple structures. Because they were all done in 3D, the back obviously would be flat because it would be part of the wall. So this is designed to be hung on a wall, or you can use it as a display piece just like it is. And this particular Sekhmet is $49, which is a really great price for that piece. Sekhmet on the throne is done very similarly. She has Horus, actually this is Ra behind her, Sphinx at her sides, symbols of Upper and Lower Egypt. It's interesting, the Sekhmet is one of the earliest goddesses. She's actually from the Nubian region, and she has over 1,000 different names, one of which is the Mother of Dragons. I always thought that was fascinating. She is $94.99. All right, so we have an Isis here. She is $39.99. And then this Bast, she's absolutely beautiful. The top of her is actually also a votive holder, or tea light holder, excuse me. And this one is $69.99. So if you have this piece on your altar, you can actually burn votives on her or put cone incense. So you can really make that a truly devotional piece in your home. This Isis is easily 12 inches tall. She's stepping forward as a goddess of resurrection and fertility and many other things would do. $54.99 for that piece only. That's a really great piece. This is one of the more dynamic anamorphic Bast I've ever seen. The reason for it is because she's not just like a cat face standing there, but she's actually got some attitude going on in this one. She's got a panther down at her side, and her total is $67.99. Classic Anubis, Ampu, done in gold, old bronze finish. This one is $92.99. Easily over a foot tall, weighs about 10 pounds maybe. He's a heavy piece. All right. Then we have Isis with a cat at her side. She's holding the flail. And this one is $71.99. Then there's a Bast. She's also got a cat at her side. She is $64.99. This Bast is the same size as that Anubis that I showed you earlier. So she's actually a little bit bigger. And she is $92.99. She's got the scarab at her neck, the ankh on her necklace. Her entire back is covered with hieroglyphs as well as her arms. It's a really stunning piece. All right, another Sekhmet. This one also with that solar disc above her head. $46.99. Very classic Sekhmet, done with the arms down at the side. The Isis done the same way with the arms done down at the side. This one is $19.99. That's a really great price. And then we have this series that has Ra, Isis, and Thoth. They're done intentionally to look flat, similar to the original Egyptian artwork style. So they're designed to be flat, so you put them against the wall. And Thoth is $29. This particular Isis is also $29. And I'm going to guess, based on the fact that they're a similar line and they're all supposed to be done similarly, that this is also... Oh, he's much bigger than everyone else. He's $36. All right. So now we have Anubis done in the classic black style. We have 3 different poses of him. One is slightly smaller, one is the upright sitting, and then one is the slightly larger one. This one is 27, 29, and this guy's really heavy. He's 71. So these pens, which are really fun, they're all Anubis pens. They're $8.99. And then this is one of our most unique new pieces that we just got in. It's like a skull of Anubis, which is really fascinating. And this one's $41.99. And they've done a really great job detailing it. I love how they did like the cartilage lines and the ears, which are the same lines that they put in the traditional black and gold style. This Anubis bust is absolutely fantastic. All the detailing in it. I wish I could wear this mask. It's absolutely stunning. It's about 14 inches tall. There's full details in every aspect of the face. And that one's only $99.99. We have another Anubis bust. This one is $77.99. Fully detailed as well. You can see that they put all the interesting details on the side there. And then this piece, which is unique, is they've actually done a Bast as a bust as well. And they didn't put the price on the front of this, so I'm going to have to take her off to look. Oh, where did they put the price on her? She is $76.99. I'm going to have to set her aside because if I try to put her back on, I'm going to hurt her accidentally. All right. So this is, we have many of him in different areas, but we just haven't gotten to the rest of them. This is Set. So he has a non-animal specific, almost aardvark-like head. He's the god associated with the left-handed path. He is only $44.99. He is the brother of Osiris and his murderer and the uncle of Horus. That particular ankh that was sitting in the back, this wall piece that has Isis on it, was $24.99. This is a really cool thing. When you plug it in, it causes the sand that's inside this jar to swirl around like a desert tornado. It's $56.99. It has Isis around the sides of it. This Egyptian engraved style skull is nearly life-size in fact, let's see. That one is $46.99. This is an interpretation of Osiris, $66.99. This is Osiris done in all bronze. He looks like he's ready for battle. This one is $54.99. And then the one where we're typically seeing him as a green man god is here in the back. We have to remember he's a god of fertility. His sacrifice inevitably provides fertility to the Nile. This one is $61.99. All right, we're down to the last shelf. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. We've got just a few of these left to go through, so I'm glad that you stuck with me and that we've gotten a chance to see all these amazingly full detailed Greek and Egyptian gods and goddesses. This is a new line for us. They're absolutely adorable down here, but the fine detailing, this particular bas piece is $37.99. Next to it is Anubis. I just love all the additional character that they put into each one of these. The very unique styling. It's almost, I almost want to say that it has some anime aspects to it, but truly magnificent. $37 for the Anubis. This set is really representing his very violent and dangerous nature, symbolizing death and desolation. $37.99 as well. And then I think it's funny that they made, in the specific line, they made Osiris a cat. So Osiris is a cat, and this representation, the mummified cat, is $37.99. We have your hourglass so that you can measure how much time you've got left. $42.99. I think it's only 5 minutes, so don't stick to that as your total amount of time left. Classic bass, as you'll see in many of the tomb structures, $27.99. The ram, which is a symbol of Ra in some aspects, is $12.99. Another cat bass, $27.99. I love this chalice. Sorry, you're seeing some drums there for a second. I love this chalice. It's got the Eye of Horus on it, scarab beetles. The metal inset does come out so that you can clean it easily. And this is $24.99 for that chalice. It's really a great altar tool if you need something like that for your altar. This specific bass, very classic pose like the one that I showed you just a bit earlier. Scarab beetle around the neck. $31.99 for that one. Then we have the smaller one. I like how they've done the bronze painting. It looks like it's got a patina to it. It's $18.99. This bast actually has some mirrors set into it. That one is $14.99. We have 3 different scarabs, $6.99, $8.99, and $9.99. The interesting thing about all the scarabs is they do have hieroglyphs on the bottom. I don't know what they say, but they're very interesting. We have 2 red lions, $7.99. And then these are actual beetles that we got from Egypt that are intended to be beads, so you can make beetle necklaces out of those. This particular version of Horus is $52.99. This is the same as the version of Horus that's out in front of the Temple of Kom-Ombu. It's $24.99. The Osiris in the back here is $49.99, so that's a really great price for that big of a piece. He's almost 12 inches tall. They're all in the same line, so if you were collecting a series of Egyptian gods and you wanted them to all look similar, this is the Anubis from that set, followed by the Bast from that set, and the 49 for the Anubis, 43 for that Bast. The snake-bodied Bast that we had at the top that was in all bronze, this is her in black and bronze, or black and gold. She's 49. All right, we're almost at the very end. Thank you for sticking with me. We have a solar boat that represents the journey that Anubis, or that Horus takes through the underworld and returns on each day. This is actually also an incense burner. It's $32.99. It's a different chalice that's also very beautiful with Isis. The cup part does come out. It's made out of stainless steel. It's $21.99. We have Isis, who's from that previous line that I was just showing you with the Anubis and the Horus. So if you were wanting to have an entire line that were all similarly sized and similarly colored and similarly designed, this is a beautiful piece to add to that collection at only $46.99. And I'm really glad that we have a few Sobeks. It's not very often that we have as many of them or that there's as many of them made available as we have now. But I love his crocodile feet and the tail, his headdress. This Sobek is running $59.99. He's usually 12 inches tall. He's beautiful. All right, and here's Ra battling the primordial chaos that's surrounding him. This particular piece is $59.99. He's leaping from the top of a pyramid. It's absolutely stunning. And then the last piece is this particular version of Thoth. So this is a very classic version. He matches also with that similar style that we had, that Anubis and Horus and Isis and Bast. And so this one is $48.99 for that last piece. Oh, I missed this one, so back in the back. So I'm going to show him to you, and then we really will be done. All right, there's that last Sobek. He's easily 14 inches tall with that headdress, and he runs $49.99. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with me today. If there were any pieces that you saw that you loved, definitely message us and let us know which ones you wanted. We will make sure that we get them to you. Remember, like I said earlier, the way we're doing it for figurines is if you buy a piece, it's 10% off, and each additional piece you buy is 10% more off. So if you buy 2 pieces, it's 20% off. 3 pieces, it's 30% off. 4 pieces, it's 40% off. And if you get to 5 or more pieces, you get 50% off your entire order. And I forgot to show these, but they're absolutely adorable. The Wee Egyptians is what these are called. They're all the same price, which is $14.99. So there's a scarab, Anubis, Ra, Set, Osiris, Thoth. I love this Sobek. This Sekhmet. Her eyes are so big. We've got a few pharaohs. Isis. Ma'at's back there. All right, thank you, everyone. And last but not least, we only have 2 of these left, the plush Bast stuffies, and they go for $14.99. You can hold the goddess in your hand and cuddle with her. Very adorable. Very awesome. Thank you guys so much. And hopefully we hear from you soon. Bye.